Hello, and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. An Israeli soldier was slightly wounded last night when a pipe bomb exploded next to him on a road in the northern West Bank. The incident began when IDF forces received reports earlier in the evening of burning tires outside the village of Mugayir, northeast of Ramallah. A group of soldiers went to the area to investigate, and as one of them approached a burning tire, it turned out to be an explosive device and detonated. The soldier was slightly injured and was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, 4 Jewish teenagers were indicted on Monday by the Jerusalem District Court for allegedly attacking Palestinian farmers in another part of the West Bank. The 4, an 18-year-old from Petah Tikva and 3 minors aged 15 to 17, are accused of threatening Palestinian farmers with rocks and crowbars in the area of the outpost of Geulat Zion. Geulat Zion is next to the settlement of Shiloh in the northern West Bank. The first sentencing hearing in the case of IDF Sergeant Elor Azaria will be held in a military court this afternoon. Azaria was found guilty of killing a wounded and disarmed terrorist in Hebron on March 24th. The terrorist, Abdel Fattah al-Sharif, and another man had just stabbed and wounded an IDF soldier stationed nearby. Azaria was found guilty as killing al-Sharif in his current state was counter to the IDF's rules of engagement. Azaria claimed he shot al-Sharif because he thought the terrorist was about to detonate an explosive vest, though al-Sharif was found to be unarmed. Prior to sentencing, several character witnesses are expected to speak on Azaria's behalf in an attempt to gain leniency, and supporters of Azaria have planned a protest outside the Army headquarters courthouse. Prosecution is expected to request 3 to 5 years in prison. Azaria's attorneys have indicated that they would appeal the conviction, however. The IDF allegedly sent a legal team to Azaria's family and offered a shortened sentence of 18 months, not including time served, if in exchange Azaria would forego attempts to appeal and express regret for his actions. The Azaria defense has rejected the deal. The Obama administration sent $221 million to the Palestinian Authority on Friday in the waning hours of the president's term in office. The outgoing administration formally notified Congress on Friday morning that it would spend the money just hours before Donald Trump became president. The $221 million sent to the Palestinian Authority is intended to provide humanitarian aid in areas such as Gaza and the West Bank. Congress had originally permitted the spending, but 2 House Republicans, Representatives Ed Royce of California, who serves as the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and Kay Granger of Texas, who is on the powerful Appropriations Committee, put holds on the aid money, because the Palestinian Authority was seeking membership in international organizations in violation of agreements with the U.S. Congressional holds are generally respected by the executive branch, but they are not legally binding. Some $227 million in foreign affairs funding was also released on Friday. The Amona outpost, which is slated for demolition on February 8th, has hit a snag with the evacuation of its residents. In a deal reached between the Amona residents and the government, temporary housing was set to be built on a nearby hilltop, while the remaining families would be moved to a different settlement. But the High Court of Justice earlier this week issued an injunction which halted the construction of the temporary hilltop residences. In response, settlers of Omona have resumed talks of protest. The Omona residents, comprised of some 40 families, built their settlement atop private Palestinian land, which had at the time been abandoned. The proposed temporary housing is also planned for an area that had been abandoned, though remains private Palestinian land. Human rights group Yesh Din, which filed the petition to halt the construction, has said that, quote, ever since the notion of using abandoned property was suggested, we've claimed that one injustice cannot be corrected with another, end quote. With the evacuation deadline fast approaching and nowhere to relocate, hundreds of Jewish protesters have come to the aid of the Amona residents, and fears of violent clashes over a forced evacuation similar to those in 2006 have been raised. Ayub Kara, who is a Druze Israeli and member of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's ruling Likud party, was approved for a position as minister without portfolio by a Knesset vote of 45 to 33 yesterday. The Knesset also approved MK Eli Cohen of the Kulanu party as economy minister, taking over the post from his party leader, Finance Minister Moshe Kahlon. Kulanu MK Rachel Azaria will replace Cohen as chairman of the Knesset Reform Committee. Kara is the second member of the Druze community to be a minister. His father fought in the IDF in the 1948 War of Independence, and 2 of his brothers were killed in the 1982 Lebanon War. He himself was a major in the IDF and was discharged with post-traumatic stress disorder. Kara has been serving as Deputy Minister of Regional Cooperation. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.